This video will discuss the reaction of secondary amines with aldehydes and ketones. Well, first and foremost, after we've seen what the reaction mechanism of the primary amines looks like, we know that the nitrogen needs to have those two protons so that we can remove them to form the double bond. So what happens if we have a secondary amine? Here we have a ketone, and let's go with this one. To form the hemiaminal, as long as it says movement of proton. But once we have the nitrogen lone pair forming the double bond, we do not have an extra proton to donate. So we end up with this relatively uncomfortable situation where a nitrogen has a positive charge and there's a hydroxide floating around. This is referred to as an iminium ion. Alright, so you can isolate iminium ions. Sometimes you can exchange that hydroxide with other salts to make it a bit more stable. But if there is a proton available next to the carbonyl, then the hydroxide is most likely going to deprotonate and shift that charge to nitrogen and changing the position of the double bond. Let's look at what the product looks like. We have moved the double bond. The nitrogen now has the correct number of bonds and there is no charge. This is an enamine. Now, of course, we need that proton alpha to the ketone or on the one position to be able to deprotonate and form this double bond in the enamine. Let's look at some examples. Here we have cyclohexanone. Here we have morpholine. If we react them together under acidic conditions, tosyl alcohol, toluene, and reflux, what shall we get? Well, we form a single bond to the nitrogen and a double bond between where the carbonyl was and the carbon next to it. Think of it as an enol. We call enols. We'll do another example and we will obtain this product. Now, of course, if those protons aren't available, such as in this compound, notice there are no protons at the alpha position. We can still react it, but we will never make the enamine. We will only make the iminium ion. And this will not be very stable, and therefore it will be in an equilibrium.